This vignette is an example of an unfavorable task-related situation during the formal year-end review session. The reason it is considered an unfavorable situation is because the performer does not complete his assigned work promptly and frequently misses deadlines, which negatively impacts other coworkers, customers, and Frost. It is task-related because he spends too much time on tasks that are not related to his job during the work day. In this vignette, you will see coaching in action utilizing S2 and S3 leadership styles. Look for the pop-ups on your screen for PMP best practices and PMP steps as they are applied by the manager.
Hello, Ike.
Hey, boss. Another great day, right? How are you doing?
Fine, and thanks for asking.
Fabulous. So what's up?
We are scheduled to meet today for your final year in review. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now, and I'm ready.
Okay, glad to hear it. Our objective today is to review your performance for the past year and how it compares with performance expectations for your job.
Sounds like a good plan to me. So what's next?
So, Ike, we'll start by looking at the assessment we each completed for the overall performance year. We'll start with your identified key work value strengths, then discuss development opportunities, and finally, a performance development plan for continually improving professional growth for your job. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Good. So, here's how both you and I view your performance for this past year for each of our 3 required Frost core work values overall. What does it tell you, Ike?
Well, it shows me that we certainly have a different view and that mine is a lot more favorable than yours. I think I'm at the consistently delivers level for all 3 work values, but you say I'm inconsistent for both our integrity and caring value and only at the sometimes level for excellence. So what do? Split the difference as a compromise?
Well, that's not the way it works for any of us, including me when I get my performance review from my manager. We discuss and seek agreement where possible so that our Frost goal of success with satisfaction for all of our stakeholder groups is achieved, which is needed for our business sustainability. And if not, then our manager is expected to make the final decision.
I see, though I prefer it to be the other way around.
Perhaps we should explore that a bit further to better understand why you and I have such a different view of your performance. My goal, too, is for you to be at the consistently delivers the expected results for 80% of the situations level, since that's our expectation for all Frost employees. And if my rating was based only on your likability as a person, for sure that would be my rating. However, the rating is for your job performance, not just your likability.
But doesn't my likability demonstrate our caring core work value because of the relationships I develop as a result?
That's part of it, but not all what caring is about, as we'll discuss. And I'm thinking that this might largely explain the reason your job performance is so low since you've been in this job now for more than 2 years, which is when we typically expect and find consistently demonstrates performance from higher performers.
So what do you think I'm doing wrong that needs improvement?
Well, let's establish a little different perspective to get us started. Do you remember what you learned in DISC training about your own primary behavior style?
For sure. I see myself as a high I who enjoys being around people and interacting with them. Since I was a kid, I've been told that I'm a pretty likable guy.
I can see that, and it's great to be liked. However, the problem isn't your personality, it's your performance. For example, are you aware of how much time you spend visiting with others while putting aside necessary work?
I thought I was just being friendly and building relationships with others around the bank. We pride ourselves of being in a relationship bank. What's wrong with that?
Ike, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you are both building relationships and getting the work done that's expected from everyone in your role. Do you understand where I'm coming from now?
I hadn't thought about it until now, but I have to agree, I've chosen to be employed at Frost, to do a job and achieve results for this company. And a benefit of working at Frost is being surrounded by so many great people whom I think of an extension of my own family and I want to spend time with.
Exactly. Regardless of your personal motivations, Our DIS style doesn't limit us from adapting it and using capabilities that our job requires, which are learned and required for our personal success. Yours, mine, and everyone's.
I can see that. But do you think that maybe this isn't the right job for me? Am I just too people focused for this role?
Well, let's consider your future aspirations. How do you feel about Frost, both today and in your future?
Well, I do like Frost's work culture, and the people here are great. So to answer your question, I really like being a Frost banker, and I'd prefer to stay here as long as I can make it work for both me and Frost.
That's helpful. Here's why I asked. Regardless of what job you seek in the future, whether it's at Frost or elsewhere, I'd like you to think about the need to adapt. We often think of the need to adapt to new process and procedures to be successful, which is very common when switching from one job to another, but we also need to adapt our behaviors to be successful, and that applies to all jobs. Perhaps you'll find greater success and satisfaction in your current role by adjusting your behavior versus starting over in a new position where there's no guarantee of different results if the same behaviors continue.
That's helpful insight and advice. I appreciate that perspective and coaching. I wouldn't want to leave a job or coworkers I like for another position, only to find myself in the same situation. I believe there is still a lot to learn and growth opportunities in this position worth exploring.
I'm happy to hear that you're seeing an opportunity to appreciate this job more, learn from it, and enjoy the satisfaction as well as success it provides to you and all of us.
I like that attitude too. It's very positive and it connects with me.
So, let's then shift back to our Frost Core work values, key actions, and results assessments for specific strengths for you to keep doing, as well as key development opportunities required for your continuing improvement and growth this year. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
We always want to begin with what we are doing best. If our performance is not at the expected level, we'll identify actions to help us get there. So, when we compare our results, we can see that overall I rated you lower than you rated yourself. But we were pretty close in alignment on about half, mostly under integrity and caring. So, what does that tell you?
You see my performance as better for these two core work values expectations than for excellence. So that needs more of my attention and improvement.
Right. So let's look first at our most important Frost Core work value, integrity. What do you think is keeping you from moving from the inconsistent demonstration level for 50% of situations to the expected consistently demonstrates level for 80% of situations?
Well, going back to what you said earlier, performance is related to our motivations or capabilities. And since our integrity result is all about trust, that may have more to do with my personal motivations. So perhaps by becoming more aware of both of what specifically is expected and how my actions are misaligned, I'll be able to reduce that gap.
Okay. So you think that you'll be able to make progress on your own with some further feedback that increases your awareness?
Yes, I do.
Good. And I agree. So then let's look at the 3 actions I also identified at the inconsistent level for caring. Is this also being driven by your own motivations? Or are these actions that may require development of capabilities to reduce your performance gap?
They also appear to be more about awareness, because I agree that all 3 of these are important.
So again, there may just be some blind spots?
Yes, I really think so.
Thanks for your positive attitude. It can be a big asset in making the gains we expect.
So it seems like I need to be clear about what these blind spots are for me to make major performance improvements. How can I do that?
Here's how I look at this when coaching any of my direct reports. I begin by putting myself in their shoes and thinking about what I like to see happen to make things better for me, others, and Frost. And with this attitude, I then work with each performer to focus on the 1 or 2 most important key areas to achieve the continuing expected performance growth.
I like that a lot. So how can we do this now to help me get better?
Looking at the lower ratings I provided for your performance this past year, let's focus on the key patterns your lower rated work values actions seem to have in common. I feel like there are two related patterns: priorities and productive work practices.
Wow, that's interesting. How so?
Well, 3 of your lower ratings seem to be due to priorities. For example, your lowest overall work action rating is for taking ownership of my own and our company's results under excellence, which directly relates to 2 integrity key actions: protecting Frost by achieving results and doing what's right. What that says to me is your priority of talking with people, personal and working relationships, supersedes producing results. And your job is one where productive task results are absolutely essential.
I get it now, and I can see how that also relates to having productive work practices. So, what are your thoughts there?
I'm glad you see the connection. Let's look at the other 5 lower rated actions. Focusing again first on excellence, 2 actions need your improvement. First, demonstrating teamwork by an all-win approach. While your intent may be to do this, when you frequently do not meet work deadlines, it has a negative impact on your coworkers, others, and Frost overall, even our customers. And from their perspective, this is not treating everyone with respect, which speaks to integrity, or demonstrating that you value internal and external relationships, which speaks to caring. And the second aspect of excellence is that you are only sometimes improving your capabilities, not continuously improving your capabilities, which is also connected to promoting your own growth and development.
I understand what you're saying, but it's a bit overwhelming. I'm not sure I can improve on this.
I think demonstrating productive work practices comes down to being clear for each expected work task and 3 key details: what is expected by you, when, and how. For me, that means making sure that you are timely responding to people and meeting deadlines, being thorough in completing assigned tasks, and make sure your work is accurate.
Okay, so 3 key productive work practices I need to do more consistently. Be clear about the what, when, and how of my expected work tasks. You want to see me respond in a timely way to expectations like deadlines or other requests, make sure my work is complete, meaning thorough, and also check to make sure it's accurate, right?
That's exactly right, Ike. If you achieve the expected work task priorities in ways that are aligned with these 3 productive work practices, it should translate to a much higher level of performance, success with satisfaction for us all going forward this year. Next is to answer our 3 key questions, which identifies and reports our respective experience today as we work toward meeting the intent of our new Frost PMP system as a collaborative, all-win experience. Remember, we answer each question separately, with you as a performer going first.